I was actually going to record another video topic until I came to this post. This was a person talking about the African immigration issue happening in Sweden. And oh my God, we know a lot of brothers and sisters from Africa would like to get out of Africa to go to the West. If they can't get into the United States, they like to go to Canada or the UK. But if they can't get there, they'll go to Sweden. Sweden is a country that's taken in a lot of refugees from African countries and from Palestine. Now also Poland, who is threatening and has been threatening to leave the EU, refuses to take any more immigrants as they already have taken a lot of immigrants from Ukraine. And so a lot of Europeans are upset that Africans are turning Sweden into a ghetto, according to this particular post. Now, it's so bad that I have to go and actually read the comments and to give my thoughts off the computer because it's that embarrassing. Let's check it out.
Jag hoppar in här hos afrikanerna. Jag ska ha fufu. Kolla om det finns lite fufu. Salam alaikum. There is fufu for me.
Fufu?
Yeah. Can I taste?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you trying fufu for the first time?
No. Not the first time. Jag gick in bara, jag var lyssna, jag hatar mig själv in. Jag vill ha fufu här. Yeah, of course. My friend Titi Naputu Lusuvequeno is from Congo. And he... Yeah, of course. That's good. Oh, thank you. Wow, appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much. Afrikanska fotarbete.
So guys, let's get into the comments. And many of these are not nice. Like Robert Weaver 63. Looks like a shithole. Coming your way soon. All right. Now I want to go to a person, this brother here, Ronan_Ruel. They're literally having an outdoor barbecue outside communal housing and kind enough to offer food, welcoming and kind people. Why you're trying to frame them as something negative? They're doing nothing wrong. Now, of course, he's right. But what the brother is understanding is they are doing this in somebody else's country, and the people that are in Sweden believe that these people are lowering their quality of life, and this wasn't happening before. So the guy is being, like nothing is wrong, this should be okay. But when you're in somebody else's country and people feel like that's not okay, that's the whole point. We're trying to justify how somebody else feels when people that are immigrants, whether they're African or whoever they may be, come to your place. And this is a reality. This is how people who feel when foreigners come in and they feel like they're not living their quality of life when they come. Now, this person says, Chantel Russo. What is allowed continues. Europe will regret feeling sorry for allowing people into their countries that bring no skills other than to destroy. So in other words, these people that are having this particular barbecue, now obviously they may have skills. I'm pretty sure many of them do, but they're going to believe that they're not going to have skills that elevate that particular society, or they can't speak the language. They are only in the country to destroy it, okay, and Africanize it, which is what they don't want. Now, we also have this other guy, Deadbeat UK. Looks like a few families getting together, enjoying some food and music. What's the problem? Again, this is another brother who doesn't understand how the other side looks at it. Now let's look at some of these other people. They will destroy your country. All right, let's look at this. La Corruptus, whatever his name is. He says this, look at how dirty everything is, garbage everywhere. Immigration is okay. You do it legally, learn the laws, learn the culture, learn the language, and then take the test and get your papers. But the reason illegal immigration is such a huge problem, they do not assimilate. Instead, they try to turn your country into the same shithole they came from. Now, let me kind of go back to this other person's comment before, right? They're literally having an outdoor barbecue outside communal housing and count enough to offer food, welcoming and kind people. Why you're trying to frame them as something negative? They're doing nothing wrong. Okay, but we see clearly what this individual believes. They believe that they're making the place dirty. It's garbage everywhere. These people there have not learned the laws. They have not learned the culture. They have not learned the language. They have not tested to get the papers legally. So you are there not adding anything to Sweden, all right? So you can't add anything in Sweden. So when you get there, you're not gonna assimilate. It will be okay if you could be Negropeans and assimilate, but you're not. So you're gonna turn our country into where you came from, which is a shithole. That's what he's trying to justify and say, all right? Now, look at what they're saying. Not modern, infested, infected. This is what a person is saying here. Sweden, take a lesson from Poland. Now, Global Faction says, good, you benefited from the blood sucking the rituals out of Africa for so long and now eat the fufu with their brothers and their sisters. Now, this person, Chefs of Sweden, it has a very good comment. Say what you want, they're still very hospitable people. Just gives anyone free food and welcome them. This area is very poor. Also, don't forget, Sweden got a lot of money for accepting all of these refugees, and the Swedish society created this segregation, as you can see. I'm Swedish, I know. It's kind of ironic to see the Western world bashing on these people when they are the ones bombing their homes and exploiting their natural resources. And again, he's making a good point. That area could have always been very poor. I'm pretty sure it was. But that's not how those people are gonna see it. The guy says Sweden got a lot of money from taking these people in. They're benefiting. Not only have they damaged their society, they're getting a lot of money from letting them in. But that's not how those people there are gonna look at it. Again, I lived in Europe, which I'll get into a lot later, but I lived in Poland for a few years, right? And that's not how people look at you when you are coming from Africa or anywhere black coming into there. If you can't speak their language, if you can't do what they're asking you to do in the way that they see it, it's gonna be problems. So what are my thoughts about all of that? Let me tell you, I know people here in Uganda that leave and they go to Qatar every day, they go to Dubai every day looking for a better life. And I understand it because those same powers that be have destabilized the continent of Africa. But whatever you can do to stay here where you have citizenship, where you have land opportunities, where you can be somebody, you probably want to do that because you would hate to be sent someplace else and then people looking down on you because you're an African or you are the reason why their country is turning into a dump. And I want to talk about this because this was happening in Poland. When I was in Poland, the Zimbabwean community was heavily criticized because of some of the issues that they were having. A lot of them were saying, hey, Zimbabweans in Poland are ruining the country. And one day I got mistaken for an African. Not that I'm not African, but I was mistaken for one. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean. I'm walking down the street one day and a guy gets off the bus. So he shouts, go back to your country. Now stop the show. At the time I'm in medical school, I'm paying for my own medical tuition. I have plenty of money because I was doing good on YouTube. So I looked around and I didn't see anybody else black. I'm like, are you talking to me? He's like, yes, go back to your country. So I'm like, I'm from America. You know, like, what are you talking about? Go back to your country. You're taking all of our jobs. So anyways, I go back and forth. I don't want to tell you what I told the guy, but he ended up walking off and all of that. But the reality was I was being mistaken for what he felt African citizens were doing in Poland, which most of them were hardworking, not causing any problems. But whenever something was happening, it would get blown out of proportion as if they were the only people in the country doing something. And that's something that will happen when you go to these countries in Europe. You will be looked at, it is your problem. Now, that particular slum in Sweden could have always been there. But because there's Congolese people there, it's Africans there, they're gonna say, you're turning our country into a shithole. This is what they're going to say. And if you don't want people to say that about you, then, you know, we got a lot of work to do in the Pan-African world, right? Because this is what they're going to try to say. We let these Africans in here, so they're the reasons why our country is having problems, which is not true, but that's the narrative that they're going to spin. And again, people who are racist are going to blame them for everything. And at the same time, people are down talking their country to want to go to Sweden. And then when you get there or you get to Dubai, you start to find out that you're going to experience racism on every hand. And I hope it doesn't happen to you, but work together, try to build Africa, guys. And as you know, guys, thank you so much for supporting us here in Kinganda. We're out.